Now it's time to be dangerous. Now it's time to get risky. Now it's time to truly find out what you're made of and what you could achieve. Now it's time to truly find out how many lives you can impact. Now it's time to find out what you were destined to become.
What up, Raw Minds family? It's your host, Erick here, and today's episode, it's going to hit a little bit different. I've got two powerful guests joining me. We got Rocio and Angel, and they are both the duo behind the best-selling book, The Orchid, The Secret Code to Modern Goddesses. Now, I know what you're thinking, a book about goddesses on a men's mental health podcast, but I need you to really hear me out right now. This one's about healing, self-work, breaking old patterns, and the kind of deep transformation that doesn't care what gender you are. So this is why I think it's an important topic and a great book to dive into. Along that, also, Angel went from a high-level job in international TV to full-time spiritual awakening. Rocio's work with Time Magazine, Sony, and now leads a global conversation on empowerment and mental clarity. Together, they've turned their pain into purpose, and that's what Raw Minds is all about. So that's why I think it's important to bring up this topic. So whether you're a man trying to understand yourself, or a partner trying to grow, or just someone ready to stop surviving and start living, this conversation's for you. Before we dive in, though, you're vibing with these episodes. If you're vibing with these episodes, hit me a subscription, follow button, the podcast, and drop a comment or a review. It helps more people to find these real conversations and lets us just keep on pushing the mission forward. So, all further ado, all right, let's get into it and bring out the guests. Bring them out. Sorry about that, guys.
Please don't worry. It's a pleasure to be here, Erick.
Yes.
Really.
Thanks for having us, man. We're really excited to be here.
Me too. And you guys are great. We had our interview, we talked, and the energy was just amazing. You guys are just a great people. So I just have to say that.
Thank
great
you.
people.
Likewise.
Yeah. Thank you. To just start off, I got a quick thing here for you. What inspired the Orchid, and where did you find the idea from?
Erick, I'm going to try to be super quick, okay? I was looking for forgiveness and how do you forgive? And at one point I was asking everyone, how do you forgive? And people in general was not able to tell me how they do it, right? So at one point, after a lot of search and a process on introspection, and really, when you ask a question, the universe or life begins to give you different answers. So I was putting attention, and at that moment, I was able, after 1 year of experience, what was forgiveness, and really removing all the pain that I was carrying, was like, oh my God, Angel, this is incredible. We should do something to share this story.
And it so just happens we come from the world of entertainment. So for us, we knew that storytelling, Erick, it's really important that people, right? We've been sitting around the fire forever, and we tell stories, we tell jokes, we share like communities, right? And so we knew that we wanted to tell a story. And then somehow it's a longer conversation, but one day Rocio gets up from a dream, and she gets a lot of direction from dreams. And it was, hey, we need to do a story about women. And at that point, I kind of looked at my past, at my entire life. And the best way that I've described it to people is, throughout my life, there's been a lot of people, angels, I call them, who have supported me, right? And it so just happens that many of them have had the bodies of women. My grandmother, my mom, bosses at work, etc. And it's so, when Rocio said that, it just made sense. And that's how the story was born. We decided we were going to tell really our story of growth, our story of transformation, but what we thought was in a more interesting way, which was through the eyes of 5 different women.
I love it. I mean, right here, as you can see, guys, I got the book and I got the audio. And it gives you a perspective, Like, I be honest, I'm just, like I told you guys earlier, I'm on chapter 6 right now. But, I mean, it gives you the perspective and you can use that perspective. It's not just about women, though. At the end of the day, we all are human beings, and we feel these. We all feel that. So at the end of the day, it's not just for women. It could be for men too. And I mean, I'm reading it, so
That's
and
absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And look, I mean, to your point, at the end is the story of these women, but it could be 5 men for that matter, that go to a retreat center and they learn 5 lessons: awareness, gratitude, forgiveness, acceptance, and intention. And who cannot use those in their lives, right?
got that right. Yep, got that right. Definitely. And I would like you guys to plug all your stuff right now so everybody can hear. I love that, just to get that out of the way.
That's amazing. Can I?
Yes.
So look, first of all, the book is available in English, in Spanish. It's available in electronic format, in physical format, and audiobook, as Erick mentioned. You can find it everywhere: Amazon, Apple, Audible. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. Basically, anywhere where books are sold, you can go and ask for The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses. You can also find us on our website, www.theorchidbook.com. We just started something fantastic. People have been asking us for a long time, what else? What else? I read the book, but I want more. This coming July, we're going to start a audiobook, a book club, so that people for 3 consecutive weekends can join us and we can have conversations, deep conversations about their experience reading the book. And the idea is that we'll share as much. Really, the book is about us sharing with as many people as possible. I love your intro because it's all about that, right? It's about touching people. Our goal is to touch as many people as possible and teach them what we've learned in our own time, in our own experience. And sometimes a lot of money, a lot of time dedicated to it. But we just want more people to really access it because I don't know, I think it'll be a better world if we're all feeling better about ourselves.
Definitely. And you know what? It's all about paying it forward, right? And you're giving your experiences and the book, because let's face it, it's your experiences in the book, really. You know what I mean? Like you guys wrote this book, and it's about paying that forward and helping people. And you never know, someone may be struggling with one of these things, for forgiveness or something like that. And
Yes.
I mean, that it could just wake them up, right? So it's amazing.
Erick, this is the book that I wish my mom had. In 1985, Mexico, we had an earthquake. And in that earthquake, my mom lost everything. Plus, she was already in a relationship with my father, was abusing her. Plus, they were separate. So was in that time she didn't have access to help and to a podcast like this one, because was not normal to talk about your vulnerability and how you go out of that. So that's why it took me 33 years to really try to find how you can help really, and instead of looking in the past, how you can begin to concentrate in your present moment. So that's why the book is 10% what happened to the women and 90% how you go out of these situations, who really everyone has difficult situations. But when you begin to understand that, we became more in understanding that, please, let's support each other. Let's bring together a dialogue that we can share.
I
So
love it.
yes, it's
Love it.
it's about that.
And I mean, like you said, like we all need that. We all need it. Doesn't matter men or women, and that's why you guys are here on this podcast. It doesn't matter. We need that. And I want you guys to share it. It's a beautiful thing that you guys created here. And I like the book club idea too. And to help other people too. So good for you guys. I'm proud of you
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really important that more and more people are having these conversations, because there's a lot of depression out there. There's a lot of people that are feeling, a real difficult time because of all the changes that are taking place. And really, the most important part, Erick, and one of the things that perhaps is one of the greatest lessons we learned, all of the lessons, all of the answers to all of the questions for you, whoever you are inside of you. No one is going to give them to you. It just takes a little bit of time. When you go in, you dig, you kind of, you listen to yourself, that intuition that we all have, but not all of us, many of us suppress. When you listen to that, all of a sudden you start getting clarity. And at some point you find your sort of your path, and it makes a huge difference in your life.
Yeah, like you are the controller of your life, you know what I mean? And a lot of people sit around waiting for something to happen for them, but
Yeah.
you need to take charge. You know, you're the driver, you know, so you got to figure out, and you guys are giving the path of, you know, how to do these things. It's just a matter of, you know, putting that down in your head and putting it to purpose, I guess you could say.
You say it perfectly. Really, I was waiting for somebody to help me or to take me out of the depression. And really, what I discovered is everyone is in their own lives. So it's very important for me to take hands on in my life, but I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Really, I was really lost and confused, and I was putting my attention what was not the important place. I was all the attention to put it in. I don't have what people say I need to have. I was looking for approval, and really I didn't like myself. So until I begin to love myself and to understand me, I was able to make changes in my life.
And did you find that loving yourself, you know, all of a sudden opened up for all this good to come into you? Did you?
It's incredible, Eric, the change, really, because I begin to forgive myself for all the mistakes that I did. And in that moment, was like all the building that I was carrying disappear. And it's like, this is fantastic. More people, if we make the more people feel like that, then I can only tell you that humanity is gonna go to a fantastic process of transformation.
Love it. And I hope everybody catches on and everybody buys your book so they can figure this shit out. Sorry my language, but I'm just being real.
No, for sure. And look, and what we've seen is, and we actually encourage a lot of people to do this, if there's multiple people that you live with, right? Whether it's your mom, your sister, your father, your whatever, if a few people read it together, because what we're looking, I think what's really powerful is when you start developing a language, right? So all of a sudden, there's someone is angry in the house. But if that person is surrounded by someone else that says, hey, something triggered you, why are you angry? And you can then have a conversation, right? That helps tremendously to diffuse that situation. Mm-hmm. And then you don't let it to escalate into, oh, you're always getting angry, or you're such an idiot, or whatever. And normally what we end up happening is that we're not prepared. We're not trained properly to deal with each other. We know more about changing oil in cars than we know about human beings and what triggers them or doesn't trigger them. And the invitation is, let's learn more about that, because frankly, you spend so much more of your time is dedicated to human beings, that if you learned a little bit more about each other, and we all did, we'll be in a better place and our lives would improve dramatically.
Yeah, and you know what? Like I talked to this actually on the last two episodes is I'm starting to take myself out of the situation. For instance, like I used to have really bad road rage, right? I mean, sometimes who doesn't, really? You know? Yeah. So, and then now that I'm trying to take myself out of the situation, and like someone cut me off, and that minute I almost like, what the hell? But then I was like, you know what? Maybe this person's having a bad day. You know, maybe something's wrong in their life, you know, and that's why they have to race, or maybe they're in a rush to go somewhere emergency, you know. And I really
100%.
stepped back, and I was like, you know, like it's not always about me, you know. It's not always about me, you know. We're sharing this world with everybody, you know, and it's sometimes, you know, we all have a story. We're all going through things, and you just don't know what that person is going through, you know, unless they tell you, obviously. But I mean, half the time, a lot of people don't tell you. You're just meeting them on the streets, right? So you never know what that person's going through. So I say, like, step back and like just really catch yourself, you know. And it's been a journey, definitely, like different, you know. It's kind of opened up my mind, and it more at peace, I guess you could say, when I'm driving, because I'm more aware of it now, you know. So I just wanted to share that, because it kind of touched on something similar like that, right? So
100%, because, and Eric, you know, that is everyone now in schools. Really, what we need to be teaching or our kids and the parents of the kids and everyone is how you can go inside of you and really make that voice that you have
So,
inside of you to be your best friend.
yeah.
Yeah. And
You know,
regulating your feelings is what it is. Like
yes,
my
yes.
Yes.
daughter, she's on the spectrum. She has autism. So
Mm.
it's I've been trying to like work with that, right? Like trying to figure out, it's hard. It definitely is hard, especially 11-year-old girl that doesn't even know how to feel. And plus she's going through her
Poverty.
emotions and
Yes.
puberty and all that, right? So it's a challenge, I'll tell you that, right? Definitely. So it's hard. It's definitely hard. But I mean, if they taught that stuff in school, definitely helping regulate, more like I mean, I think it would be a different. I think everything would be different, to be honest. That and learn how to save money and pay taxes properly.
Totally. Totally.
100%. How
Yeah.
important is to really remove all the limiting beliefs that we carry.
Yeah. Yeah.
For us, that the issue of awareness was a huge one, Eric.
Hmm.
Because the moment sometimes we go through life and we're oblivious to the things that are happening around us, both inside of us and in other people's lives. But all of a sudden, and this is what we say, look at your life like if it was the play. Like you're watching Erick and the play of his life. He's on stage, and you're like, oh, interesting how Erick reacts to that. I didn't realize he had this thing that bothered him about that. And then the question is, does Erick like it? Yes or no? And if he likes it, go for it. Keep doing it. It's okay.
Hmm.
And if he doesn't, and I do that with myself, if I don't like what I see about myself, then the next question is, do I want to change it? And if the answer is, I want to live a better life, man, I want to be calmer, I want to be in peace with everybody, then often there's ways to change it. And for us, those things are gratitude, forgiveness, and acceptance. And most often than not, between those three, one of them or any combination of them, they have a dramatic shift in you that changes the way you start looking at a situation. And then is when you start changing little by little, but you change.
It's like almost like opening up the door and the other side is the light and you're in the dark room and you're opening it up, right? And it's just as more you open it up, more you expand your mind, the more you're going to be more healthy, more happy, all the beautiful things. A thing too though is not acceptance. Oh my god, it was in my head. I wanted to say it, now I can't. Taking it starts with an A. Oh my god.
Accountability.
Accountability. Yeah. And that's another thing
Yes.
too, is that taking accountability and realizing, where your faults are and what you need to fix, and that's a huge thing. Huge thing is a lot of people don't like taking accountability, you
Because
know.
we often associate it with guilt and shame. That's
Yes.
the issue that often when we're dealing with accountability, we carry so much weight from these limiting beliefs that our families, religion, culture, society, well, you screwed up. And so if we remove the shame and the guilt, then accountability simply is the acknowledgement that I can do it better.
I love
And
it.
that is a major thing. Remove the guilt and remove the shame, and it changes the way you think about it.
I love it. I love it.
It's less heavy
Yeah.
and you feel more comfortable to make the changes. And you understand that what happened 5 seconds ago doesn't define you. Learn is teach that experience had an important part in your life because give you a lesson.
Hmm.
But the lesson stop in the moment that stop. If you continue to carry that shame and guilt, it's like it's not serving you
Yeah.
because you are creating your next moment for a place of shame and guilt. So it's better to say to make peace with your
Hmm.
past and to make peace with what happened. And from that moment, it's like I can be a new person. And for
Hmm.
example, for me at one point, I was super depressed. And the way that I was going out of depression was little things that make the difference. Those little things that you say, today is going to be a good day. Today, the universe is going to show me how much the universe loves me. Because remember, you can call it in different ways God, angels, I don't know. In this case, it's like a show me that you love me, for example. And it's like a little by little you begin to focus on all the good things instead of focusing yourself in all the difficulties. So that is super important to see yourself like, okay, I can see that can this be a challenge, but I'm gonna begin to see what is the good thing about what is happening right now.
And I call that pain to power. That's what I call it, and that's what this podcast was built on. I went through losing my fiance actually in 3 days here. Well, when it comes out, it'll be past, but in 3 days here on the 18th, that'll be her when she passed.
The
So
anniversary.
yes, I guess you could call it that. Yeah, the anniversary of her
Passing.
passing. Yeah, but I mean, you know what? Like her passing, I feel like she had to go in order for me to build this beautiful thing, and we've helped tons of men out there. We've saved 4 men's lives that I know of. That have reached out and said from suicide, which is amazing. And now we're in 22 different countries. Like I just found out last week, 22 countries.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we just hit 1,000 views on YouTube, and we're
Wow.
just hitting.
Bravo.
Yeah, so that's good. I mean, we just started like playing around with YouTube. Well, me now, it's just me, but I just started getting like pushing YouTube a lot now, and it's just been a journey, and it's amazing. So it's and it's like I said, from pain to power, right? You got to use that pain and turn it into something beautiful, like you guys have done too, and a lot of my other guests that came here.
Incredible.
I do want to talk about you guys' kind of your own story, if I could just touch on something. So I think you guys have been together for 20 years or over 20 years.
Over
25.
25 together, 23 married.
Good for you guys. Good for you guys. Can I just say, what has been the hardest part of growing as a couple?
To be honest, is to try to remove all the programming that that the system put it on me, that a perfect partner needs to be this, needs to do that, needs to act like this, and needs to take care of myself. What I discovered that the most important is doesn't matter is a relationship between him and me, and really understanding that is a lot of respect, a lot of commitment. Like I really like yourself, himself. I love who I am today, but is that I can be me, fully me, who I am, and I not perfect. I have so many mistakes or errors or
Opportunities.
opportunities to grow. And at the end, it's okay to be imperfect. So I suppose we have been doing a lot of mistakes. At the
That's how
end
you learn.
but we see each other that we add value to each other. So how
Yeah.
we say it?
Yeah, it's funny because, we've been through difficult times together as a couple. And towards the end of each of those difficult times, we developed this mechanism, right, of just checking in. And the checking in was, does this still add value to each other? And if it does, by all means, let's figure out how to work it out, right? It's like any other partnership. If you have a business partner, you need to ask yourself, is this person still adding value to this business? And if the answer is yes, you figure out the problems and you iron them out. Our marriage has been exactly the same. But like she said, a lot of responsibility, a lot of respect. We've seen each other. We worked together when we first met. We were working together. And so we saw each other in different environments. And that helped us see each other as really valuable individuals, not just in the relationship, but outside of it. And the truth is that we've been looking to work together for almost 24 years. And because when we got married, we stopped working together and nothing worked out until all of a sudden we found this project together. And then amazingly, Eric, everything started flowing. It flows almost too easily. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
That's beautiful.
still we ask each other, it's like please have compassion for me, because I'm trying to figure it out how I feel about certain things. So it's like we give other the space to really go inside and try to figure out this internal fight that every person has. So when we see that, because at one point, for example, I have two personalities, the person who is the normal, and then my ego, who was like, things needs to be like this. And at one point, when I was able to conquer my ego, I have a different relationship with him, in more understanding, more calm. The ego was like, no, no, you need to bring me flowers all the time, and you need to be fantastic, and all these illusions that the movies put, and I was, okay, that's the normal thing to happen. It's a movie. It's fake. It doesn't happen. You need to really understand that that's why storytelling is so important, that we need to see what is really reality.
Yeah. You know something that's been really amazing to watch as part of this process that we've gone through, Eric, we've learned a lot about energy and how energy exists in us and all around us, right? So the moment you understand that Angel, I'm a ball of energy and I need to figure out how to balance my energy. Forget everybody else, my energy. And then Rocio, she learns how to balance her energy. All of a sudden, you have the possibility that these two separate entities can then balance each other, right? The opposites attract. I mean, that's why opposites attract, because it helps to balance. And then if you get that balance between first with yourself, then that individual also by herself, then together, what we've seen is that we saw that balance then extend to our daughters in our house. All of a sudden, the balance grows because everything falls in some form of order. And that has been something interesting to watch, because as it does, then the rest of your life falls into place. When she and I are in complete unison, there's peace. And we all have experienced it. But it's often we're not as conscious about it. And we think, oh, that's a woman thing, or that's a man thing, and they're just not getting along. But really, if you go deeper into energy, you start to understand, like anything else energy related, that the more in balance you are, the better. Which, by the way, goes back to why I was also very much in favor of writing a book about women, because the feminine energy inside of us, and I'm speaking now about men, has to be balanced too, man. You know how many times we were told growing up, hold your tears, hold it back, don't be a sissy, right? But all it does, it's really clogs us. It clogs our emotions. And so there's a lot of stored energy that we just got to release somehow. And we were told not to. So I think little by little, that helps when you start to realize that you could do it, and that it's actually really helpful for you and for everybody around you.
See, when you're bringing that, like, my whole body's tingling. I'm getting goosebumps all over my arms, because when I was with my fiance, we had that. Like, she understood me. She saw me differently than anybody else does, if that makes sense. Like, she understood me, and we had that balance. And we complemented each other, and that's what it is. You complement you're each other's rock, at the same time as, you put that other person in place when they're not being, and that's how it works. And just bringing that up, it just kind of brought back some memories, and thank you for that, because I just had some really, really beautiful memories. So I appreciate it.
Oh, that's so awesome that you have those memories to share and to hold on to.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. I do want to talk a bit of men's mental health now, since you did bring that up. Angel, as a man, what were you struggling with before you started doing this work, if you don't mind?
Oof. Yeah, well, look, I mean, I was sexually abused when I was a child, 9, 10 years old, maybe 8. I'd never met my dad. Well, I kind of met my dad, but the extent of me meeting my dad was 5 hours. Literally, that was the only time that I met him after I was 2 years old. So I don't remember anything before that. But 5 hours at the age of 40. Right? So my dad was largely absent all of my life. Poverty. I remember growing up at 14 now with my mom and my stepdad. And I remember eating fish soup for like weeks at a time, right? Because that's all we had. So those were some of the things that I experienced growing up. And then the stigma, being Latin, not speaking English, all of these things that, depending on where you grow up, the bullies pick up on, but it's different for everybody depending on what region of the world you're in, right? So there was a lot of that. And then towards my older years, Eric, what I started to realize was that even though I had a corporate job and we were doing okay and it gave us the opportunity to travel, there was a lot of incongruencies in my life, right? And the way that presented itself is that, and we've all been there, where you think one thing but you say another. Or you say one thing and then you go and do something else. Oh, yeah. And so what I realize is that my thoughts, my words, my emotions, and my actions were not aligned. It's almost like firing in 4 different directions. And we all know what happens when a car fires in all the different directions, right? It doesn't run well.
Doesn't run.
That was what was happening with me. And so the moment that I started to align that, because I was working in entertainment, but we would come home and we would turn off the television because we knew that TV was not good for our kids growing up. And so all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm selling TV, I'm selling advertising, but I'm telling my kids not to watch it. You know, when you live your life like that, and sometimes we have to because we don't have choices, but when you live your life like that, it does something to you, right? Because you're not in some form of peace within yourself. So for me, that was the last big thing that I had to do. I had to enter into a synchronicity with myself. That's the energy alignment that I was talking about before. Until I did that, I was all over the place.
Beautiful, man, and I'm happy you did, and I'm sorry for what you happened, but you know what? That's your story, and it made you who you are today, and it put you in this seat right now, in front of me and beside your wife, with a
Yeah,
beautiful book.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Thank
So,
you.
and like you said, from pain to power. I will always say that all the time, like when things happen. So
It's powerful when we focus on turning that pain into power. But many people, unfortunately, do not or are not making yet that jump, right? Because they're feeling the pain. And that's where these tools that we're talking about come in, forgiveness. And sometimes the biggest forgiveness that needs to be done, Eric, is to yourself.
100%.
Right? It's not others. We think it's others. And that's why we get confused because I'm not going to forgive them. But the truth of the matter is that we're the ones that often and most often need to go through it.
Yeah. I totally agree. I even had this one part in my life where I was messaging exes and people that I did wrong and forgave them. And I mean, I got a lot of FUs and all that, but I mean, it's not really for them. It's for yourself, you know, and releasing that, you know, and for people listening, like if you don't want to do that, you know, write it on a piece of paper and burn it, you
And
know,
burn it.
and push it out into the universe and then walk away from it. And I'm telling you, it's going to help you. It's going to help you.
It's so funny you say that. The other day we were in a dinner and we saw this woman that we had not seen in 25 years. Okay. She used to work with us when we first met. And she turns around and tells Rocio, "Oh, remember that other lady?" And we're like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, she's still holding a grudge on you." And after that dinner ended, we came home and we talked, right?
Yes.
What did we do?
I reached out to her to ask for forgiveness. And it was beautiful the talk that we had. And she was, you know, from now on, I'm going to remember how you make this happen and how you care really what I was thinking. And it's like, really, I didn't have the tools then to behave the way I can behave today, and on the understanding of how important is to really never forgive. You never forgive. No, you never forgot how people make you feel. So it's important, really, these interactions and to say, you know, I'm not perfect. Please forgive me. And people, you know, they love to listen that. And yes, and when they don't want it, it is okay. You continue to move.
And there's another really important thing to that in the lesson and what we did is, of course, one aspect of it was towards the lady. But one of the most important aspects is recognizing, well, wait a minute. God, the universe, spirit, whatever you want to call it, gave me a message. There's someone out there that's holding a grudge on you. There's someone out there that has energy that it's acting against you, right? In some way, shape, or form. I'm going to give you the opportunity to do something about it. And that for us was the message. It was like, whoa, we were just told that there's, you know, stuck energy in someone related to us. I don't want that. I don't want that out there. It doesn't matter who it's from. Let's go and take care of it. Let's loosen that knot so that we don't have to experience the impact that that could have in us, you know, 50 years down the line.
Yeah. Wow. My body just tingling because just amazing. It's amazing. You know, I applaud you guys both for doing that. You know, that's powerful, you know, and it's not easy. Let's face it. It isn't easy because it's your ego. You know, you got to take your ego and you got to just get rid of it. And that's one of the hardest things a lot of people can't deal with is like, you know, letting go of their ego. But as soon as you let go of your ego, you know, things will open up and, you know, you'll accept more. But I'm blown away right now. I really am. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. The ego, look, let's remember the ego is there to protect us. It's
Yep.
always, it's the only reason why it exists is to protect it. It's a prehistoric thing. We needed it when dinosaurs were coming and we had to survive or else. And the moment you realize that and you say, well, yeah, I get you, but I'm no longer running. I'm not a 12-year-old that needs protection from dad or from mom or whomever or from the bully, right? I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm grown up. I can take care of myself. Thank you, ego, but I got this. This is how the conversation starts, I think. There was a great book of a woman that we read, and she would say to her ego, creativity, you and me, we're going out on a journey. We're going to take my car. You're going to sit in the back seat and you're not even going to touch the radio, but you're coming along with us. And she said somehow that calmed her ego because it was coming along for the ride, but it wasn't going to be in control.
I love it. I love it. You know, I'm not in therapy right now, but when I was in therapy, and that's what it is like, you know, you're letting, like, for me, it was my fight or flight. So that's what was like driving my body, you know, because my whole life I've had trauma in my whole life and it's just been fight or flight, right? And like, it makes sense because I used to be all tensed up all the time, you know, and that's what it is. It's like, because you're tense.
Yes.
And she taught me how to pretty much say like, hey, you're not driving the bus anymore. You know, it's my turn to have control on the bus, you know, and I use some tools and stuff like that. And now, you know, I mean, it's still new to me. It's only been about 2 years, right? So I'm still learning how to drive the bus by myself. Sometimes, you know, the other part of me drives it, but then, you know, I wake up a little bit like, hey, no, get out of that seat. It's my seat, right? But it takes time, you know, and nothing.
And what ends up happening is that the time that it takes for you to realize it and claim your seat again, it's shorter and shorter. And one day, Eric, you're going to wake up and it's like, hey, I see you coming. You ain't taking it. I'm here. Exactly. That's right. Will you repeat that again?
What do you think stops a lot of men from healing and opening up? Would you believe it would probably be the ego, or maybe like just the fear? Maybe I think that what the world, to me, I think it's the fear and also generational trauma and generational that what's been implanted in us men. This is what my take on it is. But I would like to.
You are 100% sure, right. Remember, men has been saying one thing and women another thing to keep us separate and to really understand that no, you cannot understand. Women are complicated and men cannot show the feelings. So all these are only limiting beliefs. But in the moment that we begin to see them and to remove the mask that we've been putting on, then you begin to see that we can be anything that we want, anything. So men, if all the time they told you, you cannot cry, you cannot show up, you need to say, be super strong because that's what people want from you, then really is very scary don't to deliver that image, and they don't know how to have a connection with their feelings because that is supposed you work better for war instead of in a day-to-day basics, because if you are feeling connect with your feelings, you're not going to kill somebody. So it's important that little by little you gain this understanding that it's okay, but we've been implant an idea that you cannot have a connection with yourself.
Yeah, no, I don't know that there is anything much I can add. The limiting beliefs, and even just beliefs in general, and ideas in general, many of them are limiting, but ideas in general, right? It's a man's world. Again, you can't show emotion, and then you start getting into the more difficult things, which is it's the man's responsibility to provide, and you got to do all the work. All that puts an incredible amount of pressure on us, a lot. And frankly, unnecessary. You know, there's a lot of women out there who would love to carry half the weight that you're carrying, but we don't let them. And they've been told that they can't or don't know how to, even though they know. And so one of the things that had helped us tremendously, and going back to what we said before, was the sharing of that responsibility and listening to each other. Because I used this example not long ago. It's like you have a company, you have a team of people. Let's say you have a sales team, and you walk into your office and you have 10 people in your sales team, and you look around and you look at half the sales team and you say, half of you, I don't want to listen to. You're not ready for this. You don't know how to do this, right? That's what we do in the world today, at home, right? And we are conflicted. And so the moment that we start accepting and we start realizing that it's like the road rage, right? That happens because you think that you're the only one that should be on the road at that moment. The same happens at home. I remember growing up and they would tell me, be quiet. Kids don't know anything. And so you don't have any opinion. Imagine when you tell kids that. You don't know anything and you don't have an opinion. Therefore, you're not valuable. And so there's a
And
lot
you grew up thinking that you are not enough.
right?
And that has the effect. That's why we need to really see that we have to change that. And then little by little, with a lot of love, passion, understanding, change it.
Yes.
See, I went through that and I felt like that. My dad kicked me down the stairs when he was drunk and broke my rib when I was 5 years old and said it was a mistake. And a good portion of my life, I figured I was just a mistake, you know? And I grew up with that until I got older, obviously, and was seeing, like, I've been in a counselor all my life, right? From stuff. And it kind of just, you know, slowly opening it up and opening up. And now I am no mistake. I'll tell you that. I was meant to be here, and so was my daughter,
That's
and
so
so
awesome.
everybody else on this life. You know what I mean?
Eric, you are helping a lot of people.
Yes.
It's incredible the value that you add to this universe.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you just gave me this whole episode. I'm just shaking. I'm like vibrating with great energy. So I
Same
appreciate
here,
it.
my friend. Same here.
Thank you.
That's a reality, Eric.
Yeah,
Let's
I
share
love
it
it.
with the world.
Yes, I love it. Let's do it. And I'm so happy I met you guys. You guys are great. Your energy is great. Like even the first time we had an interview, you guys just I knew it right away. Like right. I remember I told you guys I was like, this energy is just going to be great, right? So
You did say that,
Yeah.
yes.
yeah, and you guys are gonna be my friends for life. So you guys are messed up now. I'll tell you that.
I love it.
That's how lucky we are. No,
Yes.
really, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
you.
imagine, you are in the chapter, you are in the beginning of the book. Wait,
Oh, I can't wait.
after
I've been going
later.
through.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pleasure to see your opinion. Really, is super important because you are a light for so many. And if you find the value, it's gonna be fantastic for more men to really begin to see the bridges that we can create together.
Well, we're all brothers and sisters at the end of the day. You know, we got to
Totally.
take care of each other, right? So
Totally.
Yes.
I do have a couple more questions for you guys.
Yes.
For guys listening out there right now, what's one small thing that you can do today to feel more in control that you think that you could give some advice?
Well, I can say really quick right now is in this moment, it's like a close your eyes and go inside with you and say thank you. Thank you for another opportunity to create from this place of high vibration, good energy, what is going to be your next moment. And like that, very simple, you can really begin to see right now, wherever you are, look for the joy, for all the joy that is around you. That is incredible.
Beautiful.
You know, our book is set up, as Rocio mentioned earlier, so that you walk away with a lot of insights and tools that you can use to do that. I'm going to mention a couple, but,
Please.
you know, by all means, I encourage everybody to read the book because it also takes it in a linear fashion and it brings you along. But number one, breathe. We forget to breathe. There's so much information out there that we breathe very shallow, like not deeply. And so I invite everybody to a few times during the day, sit down wherever you are, whether you're in your car, don't do it while driving, obviously, but just park and take a moment, take a deep breath, 3 to 4 to 5 deep breaths, deep, 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 deep. And it changes the course of your day. I kid you not, it is magical. because all of a sudden, and if you're able to take it a little bit further, where you start to feel and connect with your body and understand, and when I say connect with your body, it's like feel, where your butt is sitting on on the chair, where your hands are. Let's say you're on their steering wheel. That connection makes a huge difference. That's one way in which I certainly do it. Another one is having intentions, right? What do I mean by that? If you're going to go and have a difficult conversation with someone, take a moment to say to yourself, what do I want out of this conversation? And don't say, I want them to change their mind and look at my point of view, right? That's never going to be the right answer. What do you want to contribute to that conversation? Oh, I'm going to bring some peace because I want a peaceful conversation to come out of this. Or I want them to, at the very least, see my point of view, but I'm going to see their point of view. Having an intention makes a huge difference. We did some exercises in some retreats that we did, Eric, and it was interesting. We were in a place of the city that wasn't very pretty, but they gave us some envelopes. And in the envelopes, they said, go and find beauty around you. And we're like, what? We're like near the airport. It's industrial. Where are we going to find beauty? But what's interesting is that where you put your attention, you find everything. It's like when you buy that car and all of a sudden everybody has the car and you're like, wait, I never saw them before. And all of a sudden, because your attention is focused on that element. So what if we woke up in the morning and we say, today, I'm going to find peaceful people in my life, or I'm going to find the beauty that surrounds me, or I'm going to find love, or I'm going to find the people that do favors for me, or I find whatever that is. I kid you not, it starts to change your day and it starts giving you exactly what you're looking for because it's all around us.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yes.
When I wake up, I'm going to start doing that. Yeah, definitely. I love it. And you know what you were saying about the breath work? Breath work is amazing. It really is. And actually, it's kind of funny because I'm actually in the middle right now is writing out like a PDF file that I can sell on Etsy. And it's for working out. No, like it's HIT, I think it's called. Where it's like, no, you don't need dumbbells or anything. It's just all your body. Also journaling. It's going to have breath work in it. It's about 60 pages. I'm almost done. It's just now trying to turn it into a PDF. That's what I'm working on right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's kind of wild how you brought that up because breath work is huge. And I used to do that all the time in my counseling. And it just grounds you. It really does ground you, and brings you back. And it releases, like, you feel heavy. And as soon as you do that, it all just flows away. It's like it goes out your feet. You know what I mean? It just comes through your body and right out your feet. So thank you for sharing that.
There are so many examples of things that are happening and have been studied around the world. Monks who use breath work to do the craziest feats with their bodies. There's people who jump into cold water, like freezing water, and through breath work. That's right. Exactly.
I have his book too. Great.
Exactly. So it is really powerful. And I think where it goes down to, Eric, is to the abilities that we have in our body that we forget or we don't develop fully, but are there. And we're much more powerful than we think we are.
Yes, I agree. And thank you again for bringing that up. So if you guys are listening, get into the breath work. I'm telling you, it will change you. And you can if you want to get advanced, check out the Wim Hof stuff. I mean, that stuff is advanced. He's even got places you can go, right? Like they're I don't know what you would call them, I guess, like a retreat, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I heard they're pretty intense, but I mean, people walk out of there and their life has just changed big time.
Yeah. And imagine if we all knew how to do that when we're facing a difficult situation, right? Breath work. And we've heard it in different ways. In the corporate world, it was more of, count to 10 before you answer back to that employee or whatever. Really, that's what it is. It's getting in touch with yourself first, grounding yourself. We practice it at home. Whenever we're not in agreement with each other, when we're not in agreement with our daughters, it's like, okay, everybody,
take a breather.
Take a breather. Let's sit down. And it's not take a breather and go away, right? It's take a breather here, right now. Let's do an exercise, maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes to ground ourselves, and let's retake that conversation. And every time it worked without fail.
Love it. All the emotions just come down, right? And it's just everybody's on the same page usually, right? So I love it.
And clarity, your brain becomes very clear.
Definitely. Love it. Just back to your book for a second before we we wrap this up, I got a couple other things. You break the journey into 5 stages. If someone's stuck in survival mode, where should they start?
With the small steps, the most important when you are in survival, the most important thing is in right now, say, I can do it. I can do it. And I understand that this can be difficult, but I'm going to make it happen, because you need to begin to talk to yourself in a positive way. So when you begin to talk like that, you are creating more peace and harmony. And that is the most important, that you say, okay, what I want, and this is the intention, okay? I'm gonna begin to find everything easy. So you begin to say it and manifest. Is you calling the easy into your life. You call the calm to your life. So you are calling what you don't have and what you want. So it's very important to say something like that.
There's a couple of things that I would suggest. First, and survival is different for a lot of people. If you're not safe, focus on that. Be safe. Get safe to wherever it is, whatever you think is going to make you safe. Find people, ask for help. I think a lot of people don't ask for help. Even it's so difficult sometimes. There's a great book, and one of the animals asks the other animals, "What's the most brave thing you've ever done?" And the animal answers, "I asked for help," right? That is super brave. So take care of that. And then on the other end, I would say surround yourself. There's always good people around us, friends, family, even strangers sometimes. If you see someone, say hello, start a conversation, tell them, share, because most people can lend a hand. And sometimes all we need is that little bit to get us out of that hole because we're stuck in the mud. And then really, like to Rocio's point, maybe applying some of the other things that we were talking about, the breathing, right? The kind words, a kind word to yourself.
Definitely.
Little things can add up to a lot. But most importantly, be safe, find help, because often when you are in survival, you don't see the possibilities and they could be so right in front of you, but we're blinded to them. And someone else may just be able to point them out a little bit more easily. And then that may make the huge difference.
It's almost like, you're at work and you're stuck on something and you just can't figure it out. But then someone else comes over and they got a different eye and they can look at it like, oh no, it's just like this. And that's that easy. It's because you're so blind,
Yeah.
and that's what it is, like you said, that's beautiful. Oh my, I can't believe the goosebumps that you guys are just producing here. It's amazing. It's just, I've never had this so much in one sitting. I'll tell you that.
We're humbled by your comments. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I love it. And one last on your book here, what's intentional forgiveness, and how can we use it when we're mad or hurt?
Intentional forgiveness. So the point of forgiveness is to really understand that anything that happened is already in the past. So if you continue to carry the problem, the issue, is like you are carrying something with you that who doesn't add value to your life right now. So the most important is to drop it and to let go. You are putting a lot of energy to that. So instead of carrying that energy to the past, and you begin to focus your energy in the present and in the future, you can begin to create something incredible instead of wasting your energy and what is not important anymore. So that's why it's so important to read the chapter that we did in forgiveness, to see the different examples, how the women were forgiveness through which tools. Because what I need to forgive, sometimes when I was applying forgiveness, sometimes I need to write, but I need to know exactly how to write something. And that's why the examples is for me, give me inspiration. And then it's important to learn how to forgive myself for carrying and for believing that that was important to hold on, and to understand that I didn't know better. I didn't know that I can drop it. So that's big part of the forgiveness, is to forgive ourselves because we didn't know better. So the book is, that's why it's important, because the characters they are going through different process, and they are helping to give you inspiration and ideas that how you can use it. And when you learn, you are unstoppable.
Who's your favorite character out of your book, if you could say?
To be honest, I understand it's like a which of your kids do you love more, right? It's like a it's impossible to say, but the only thing that I can tell you is all of them has my essence. And I all the women and the women are all. And Eric, I'm for sure you're gonna find, and that's why it's so important to have a conversation after you read the book,
I
because
would love for you guys to have a conversation with me after
That'd be
this.
amazing.
I
Yeah.
wanna know your opinion about what do you take from that. So everyone's seen different parts of themselves, and we all have secrets, right?
Oh yeah.
But no one knows, but we know. We really know. And that when you begin to make peace with yourself is the most beautiful thing that ever
Oh my
happened
gosh,
to
yeah.
me.
You know, I want to go back very quickly to the intentional forgiveness. For me, I'm so clear now about energetic impact on my life and how it just touches everything. And if you today, I understand that holding on to grudge, holding on to anger is like carrying a time bomb in your pocket, right? If somebody said, you have a time bomb in your pocket, I'd be looking for it and throwing that thing as far as possible immediately. That's how I feel now. Today, when I know that there is something that needs to be forgiven, I take absolute priority to let it go. Like that example that we gave about that lady before, because I don't want that energy in my life at all. And so I now understand that when I forgive, and that's why I do it intentionally very quickly, when I forgive, I'm claiming back my power, my energy. And I rather use my energy for the dreams and accomplishments that I want to reach, for my projects, for everything that we're trying to build together, for conversations like this one, than to be pissed off about someone or something that happened either 3 seconds ago or 30 years ago. Right. And so that's why for me, radical forgiveness is super important. It is a claiming back of my power so that I can do what I really want to do with it.
Applaud you guys both. Amazing. You guys are both amazing people, and I'm glad that you're here on this earth and helping change lives. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
So I just got one question at the very end. We always ask this question. What's one thing that you could, God, I forgot it now. What's one message to the world from both of you?
You know, we came to this earth to have fun, to really to connect to each other and to expand our capabilities, our creativity beyond. And some people are showing us how to they are doing it. And you know, everyone can do it. So now that I'm living the life that I was thinking was impossible 33 years ago, and seeing that is possible and I'm not special, is like if I'm a person who has so many limitations, I was able to really turn my life in another direction completely, anyone can do it. So it's like have fun, enjoy the process, because it seems difficult, but when you get it, it's not so difficult. So that's my message.
Great
That's
message.
awesome. And by the way, she does take this whole thing of having fun very seriously. I'm a little bit more intense. I think that, that the lessons need to be, and she's like, oh, just chill, have fun. Let's do this with a smile. And she's right. For me, Eric, I will read the dedication in our book, if you don't mind,
I would
because
love you
that's,
to do that.
thank you. Because that's really, very core to what we're trying to do. And I want everybody who's listening and watching to really think for a second. We're telling this to you and only you. And it says, to all who journey through these pages, may you be inspired to rewrite your own story and live a life full of love, free of limitations, and enriched by the knowledge that you are powerful beyond belief.
Again, just amazing. Amazing. Thank you guys so much. I love it. Beautiful answers. I would love you guys to plug yourself again, please, and where everybody can find you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You can find more information about us at www.theorchidbook.com. The Orchid, The Secret Code of Modern Goddesses, available electronically, physically, in audiobook. wherever books are sold, most often Amazon, Audible, Apple. And you can find us on all social media through the Orchid Book _ Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. And guys, this is the book right here. It's cutting out a little bit there, but it'll be in the
Here.
description. Yeah, there you go. If you guys
Yes.
want to post it.
Yes.
There it is. And it'll be in the description. So please check it out. It's a great book. I'm only into chapter 6, I think I said it was, Olivia.
Yes.
But it's, and honestly, I can't wait to dive in even farther. And I would love to have you guys back. You know,
Thank
it
you.
doesn't even have to be about the book. You guys are just amazing people. You know what I mean? But I'd love to have you back about the book, you know, and we could talk even deeper about this and dive even
Amazing.
deeper.
We'd love that,
So-
Eric. That would
Thank
be
you,
amazing.
Eric, for the opportunity, really, and for the work that you are doing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Support
Is
you,
there
brother.
anything else that you guys want to say out there before we end it, or you guys?
No,
are good?
is to everybody who's out there, you can do this. And you'll have a lot of people like Eric and ourselves cheering for you in a corner somewhere. Just look for us.
Definitely love it. Well, everybody, thank you for showing up, and thank you, Angel and Rocio. Right?
Yes,
Is that
perfect.
Okay, I'm trying to get it perfect. Yeah. Sorry. You know, thank you guys. And if you guys want to join and be in the hot seat like they are, hit us up at rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. And even if you just want to vent or you got to get something off your chest, like feel free, shoot me an email. You can stay anonymous. You know, I have all the resources that you need in every country. So if you guys need to reach out, you know, just let me know. I can get those resources for you. I have a program that gets me any resources in all around the world. So I'm here for you. Or you can hit up rawminds.ca on the website. I say this every episode. I am not happy with the website. I built it myself. I've never built a website before. But you know what? I built it, so too bad. On that note, thank you again, guys. I really appreciate everything that you're doing, and I appreciate your book, and I can't wait to dive even deeper and then have you guys back on and have this conversation. And I'm truly honored to call you guys now my friend. I really am.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. Thank you. At that, we'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Bye. Thank you.